Now, how do you relax when you feel stressed or maybe overworked? The advice you often hear given out is to speak to somebody. But, not everybody wants to verbally express their emotions, particularly if they're feeling anxious or even depressed. One method that is thought to effectively impact that is yoga. And as part of National Mental Health Awareness Week, mindfulness workshops are being held to help manage the condition. And one session is happening in Scraptoft tomorrow. And I spoke yesterday to the organisers, Joanna and Claudine Fignon.
Well, we're running a workshop for mental health and well-being, and the idea of it is that we're going to share a number of techniques focused on managing stress and anxiety and depression and all the problems that we can have with our mental health. One of the key tools being the breath. We can learn so much about ourselves from just monitoring the breath. It can be a very powerful tool that we can help to use to de-stress and to unwind. The other thing that we will be doing as well, we'll be doing some postures which are all focused around grounding the body and feeling ourselves in the present moment, being totally present and just getting to know ourselves in a physical sense, grounding ourselves and also on an emotional level as well.
So this is part of National Mental Health Awareness Week. So talk to me about the link between your physical self and your mental well-being and just how that contributes towards it.
Personally, I suffer from bipolar, which I've been trying to manage for a number of years, and I particularly found of all of the different things that I do to manage my condition that yoga and meditation have been the best thing for me personally. I have a son who's got ADHD and ASD as well, so he suffers with a lot of anxiety too. And in fact, this week, particularly, it being quite ironic that it's National SATS Week, the same week as Mental Health Awareness Week. So in our kids' classes, we've been giving them a few tools and a few breath techniques, just little quick things that they can use, if they're anxious and stressed about the exams and things as well.
Is there more of a focus now on people being aware of these mental health issues and the stress that can be put on not just adults in their working life, but children with things like SATs and GCSEs? Is there more of a focus to help them with this, do you think?
Well, I think people nowadays are more aware of mental health, which is great. There's no stigma anymore, I think, about being anxious or depressed, because through life a lot of things can happen. Divorce, different problems, schools, exams. So it's very, very amazing that we start to bring the yoga actually to schools, because if we can learn kids from the very young age how to deal with their emotions, which we probably at school and at homes probably there's not much time to deal with their emotion the right way, that can set them for life. Because as we spoke before with Claudine before we came here, it's actually a skill that you learn for your whole life, whether you child or adult person. So if we start to bring those techniques since we're kids, and we start to know how to deal with our emotions, because emotions going to come and go, it's never going to be completely empty in our heads or in our body. We're not going to be flushed out of emotions, so they're going to happen any time of our lives. So it's really good to bring that awareness to schools, so kids know that it's okay, whatever happens, they have those tools to manage.
And actually, a lot of times people, when they talk about mental health, the message is you can talk to somebody, but actually not everybody wants to talk to somebody. So is this almost like an alternative remedy to help yourself, really, rather than having to blurt out all your feelings to everybody when you might not want to do that?
I think this is the case with everybody, but particularly for children, I think it can be really hard for them to actually understand what the emotion is that they're feeling, to actually be able to, like we might do as an adult, put a label on it, or I'm feeling anxious, or I've got butterflies in my tummy, I'm nervous. So instead of focusing on, well, we've got to label that or we've got to understand it, it's thinking, well, I feel like this and I can do this to help with that.
So that was Claudine Fignon. They're running a workshop in Scraptoft tomorrow, and she actually showed me a technique that can be used to de-stress, just using yoga and breathing exercises to help people to combat mental health problems. And she ran through one of these exercises that she uses to calm her nerves.
Well, a lovely one that we've done this week with the kids, and we're going to do it at the workshop as well. It's called Take 5. It's a really simple breathing exercise. So to start with, we'll be taking ourselves to a comfortable seated position, which might be cross-legged, or you could just sit on a chair, and just connecting with the earth beneath the body, just connecting with the ground.
So how do I do that?
So if you're sitting on a chair, you're just feeling beneath the feet, the earth beneath you. If you're sitting, just
take my shoes off.
Yeah, you could take your shoes off. That's a really good start. And then this one we're going to do with the eyes open, but you might want to close the eyes for a moment first, just to kind of bring the awareness from an external awareness to an internal awareness of the body. And then what we're going to do is we're going to hold one hand out. I'm going to spread our fingers so they're nice and spread out. And then we're going to take the index finger of the other hand, and we're going to slowly draw as we breathe in along the outside of the thumb. And then as we get to the tip of the thumb, we're going to pause, and then exhaling, we're going to draw down the other side of the thumb. And then inhaling, we're going to draw up the index finger or first finger, reaching the top for our pause in the breath. Exhaling, we're going to draw down that index finger, and again turning and inhaling up the middle finger, pausing, and exhaling down the middle finger.
It sort of gives you, I don't know, the hairs on your back of your neck almost go up, don't they?
It's just a lovely one that obviously you don't have to stick your hand out in front of you. You can do that really subtly. So we did say to the children this week that if they're stressed out with one of the questions in their SATs, or they just kind of feel a bit overwhelmed, you can just have your hand in your lap and just do it quietly to yourself. It's nice because as well as that breath, you've got that physical movement. So you can just focus all of your awareness on what you're doing with that finger, and just allowing the breath to just move along with that movement.
So it's like the same sensation as when, like, I don't know, if you're relaxing at home and somebody starts playing with your hair or maybe tickling your back or something. It's that same relaxing sensation, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of that sense of touch. In fact, when we did it with the children yesterday, they did suggest, didn't they? Oh, we want to do this in pairs so we can run the finger over the other. And we also talked about doing with our toes.
What sort of impact of these exercises, particularly with the children that you've been working with in this week, what sort of impact and reaction have you seen from them?
Really good. I mean, in the classes that we're doing, they're really developed. We found over the weeks that their ability to breathe more deeply is really improved. We've got a couple of the students that have been doing yoga for a long time. The other week we had windmills. So we were just getting the children to blow the windmill. And obviously to make the windmill go round, you have to blow really nice and slowly and steadily to keep that rhythm going with it. And they just really enjoyed. We even timed each other, didn't we, just to see how long they could get that out breath going. And I think a lot of them surprised themselves, didn't they?
If I can just mention, when you've asked before that people sometimes don't want to go out and talk to other people. So I think that yoga and all the tools that we bring, it's actually bringing people more together, and you don't have to escape from reality. You can't, all those techniques kind of ground you in the moment, so you can deal with yourself in the actual moment, and you don't have to go for like expensive holidays or big retreats. You can really manage your emotions and yourself in daily life every single day, and it can bring you that peace of mind that you can really open yourself to others as well.
That was Joanna Petroska and Claudine Fignon talking about using yoga to help combat mental health and stress issues. And they actually have a workshop taking place tomorrow. It's at Scraptop Village Hall on Sunday, as I mentioned, from 10 a.m. And for more information, go to sunshineandlight.co.uk.